Jumping start, and the ball's over. Hawks with the save. Here comes the set. Powerful hit by number 6, Lucas Pope. It gives his team the point.
Good misdirection play as well as they had to set. The set faked out a few of the Trinity players, and that set up Kopik with basically an open room and spiked that one to get the kill.
Easton Case with the serve for the Hawks, and it's off. There's a save, the set. Saved by the Hawks. Here comes the set for the Hawks.
Wow, good effort there.
Ball's going over for the Trinity. Great save by the Hawks.
Great effort.
Ball's over. Trinity with the save. Here comes the set. Powerful glass. Great hit by...
You're listening to ChicagolandSportsRadio.com. It's not just sports. It's a way of life.
Chicagoland Sports Radio Sports Update.
On June 19th, I'm Sean Lennon at 12 p.m. with your ChicagolandSportsRadio.com sports update brought to you by Illinois Media School. For more information on careers in broadcasting, make sure to go to BeyondAir.com. Well, right now, of course, we looked at the games happening. The Chicago Cubs lost to St. Louis Cardinals 5-0 Sunday. The Cubs now play their series today with Los Angeles. The Dodgers, game one, this will be a doubleheader with the Dodgers. Game one is 1 p.m. The second game will start at 7 p.m. Chicago White Sox lost to the Cleveland Indians last night, 5-2. They played tonight at 6:10 p.m. Central again. World Cup Sunday action. Costa Rica lost to Serbia 1-0. Mexico beat Germany 1-0. And Brazil versus Switzerland tied 1-1. Yesterday, Sweden beat South Korea 1-0. Belgium beat Panama 3-0. And England beat Tunisia 2-1. Today's game, Japan beat Colombia 2-1. And the Colombia players got the red card. This update has been brought to you by Chicago Dogs Baseball. The home game broadcast will be June 19th when they take on the Texas Air Dogs at 7:05 p.m. For tickets, visit thechicagodogs.com. I'm Sean Lane. You're listening to Chicagoland Sports Radio. We're not just sports, it's a way of life.
Hey, George, are there just going to be one thing just going to be constantly going through my head? To the death. We're going to go to the death. I'm not going to stop. I'm willing to die. I'm going to go. Serious, George. I'm going to go to the death. I'm going to try to kill you. And I'm not joking about this.
The guy says, are you going to decide to put the guy in knockout for once, or are you just going to do your minimum? I said you should try to step in the octagon and try it.
She reached out to shake my hand after that fight. She wouldn't have done that if it was just us in a gym alone. That was an action that was influenced by being watched. Me not shaking her hand was an action despite being watched.
Clean fight. Touch gloves, let's make it official.
Watch here, Sally. We'll focus. We're going spinning now. Got this. Focus martial arts is to make a point. Dude, I'm trying to end it. Checkmate.
Because now it's going to be beast mode with this little mode stage.
All right, today is Tuesday, June 18th, 2018. The Fight Report live on ChicagoSportsRadio.com. Your humble host, Sean Lane. At 12:40 p.m., we talk to UFC welterweight Curtis Melender on the show to talk about his upcoming fight against Max Griffin at UFC 226, July 7th in Vegas. At 1 p.m., we talk to Houston heavyweight pro Wanda Kraken Adams on the show, talk about his upcoming fight. Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series against Sean Teed, Week 7 on UFC Fight Pass, July 31st. Fighters compete at Professional Fighters League 2 event is going to be joining me in studio to discuss their fights. At 1:20 p.m., we talk to former UFC lightweight Chris Wade in studio to talk about his fight against Nathan Schultz at PFL 2 in Chicago, Illinois. That's on June 21st, this Thursday. And at 12:20 p.m., we talk to former UFC veteran lightweight Jason High in studio to discuss this fight with Efrain Escudero at PFL 2, June 21st. You can catch it on NBC Sports Network at 12:40 p.m. Sick Jitsu head coach Rick Little joins me on the show to talk about his fighters competing, including Michael Chiesa, who fights Anthony Pettis at UFC 226, and Sick Jitsu, of course, in Spokane, Washington, home to Juliana Pena, Sam Cecilia, Daniel Spitz, and Elizabeth Phillips. And also, I will give predictions for UFC Singapore and go over MMA news as well, time permitting, though, because we have a busy show today. We have got probably the most guests that we've ever had in the Fight Pool. We've got 3 guests calling in, 2 in studio. And Professional Fighters League 2 takes place this Thursday, June 21st, and we're excited to be promoting this. We're also very excited to not only be promoting this, but having the fighters in studio and covering the event as for media as well. Headlined by a great fight between Ill Will Brooks, a Chicago native, taking on Luis Firmino. I think this is going to be a great night of fights. Of course, Ramsey Needham, we've had him on the show. You can watch my interview on mymmanews.com. You can listen to it, of course, on Spreaker.com/user/Fightlete. And, of course, he's taking on another tough guy against Brian Foster. It's some really good fights. Of course, we're going to be talking to Chris Wade. And with Jason Hyatt will be in studio as well. And I think this is going to be a great night of fights. I really do. I think that the way that Professional Fighters League has really formatted their show, it gives everyone the opportunity to go after the belt, man. And not only that, $1 million is on the line because the winner gets $1 million to crown the inaugural champions of each division. I think it's really exciting. Tournament format, 72 fighters. You've got a regular season, playoff, and, of course, the $1 million championship for each of the 10 divisions. I think this is exciting. Also, we're going to see a non-division fight, or a non-tournament fight, rather, between Kayla Harrison and Brittany Elkin. I got a chance to interview her on my show, and excited to have her on. That's great, and excited to see that fight against Kayla Harrison. Yeah, that's going to be amazing. Efrain Escudero, Jason High, of course, will serve it in the event as well. We're going to be talking to Jason High. And this is going to be a fun night of fights. I encourage everyone who has this Thursday, Professional Fighters League 2, June 21st. And we are giving away tickets, guys. So I'm going to give the number right now, 773-966-2494. And check it out, of course. Make sure to check out Professional Fighters League on and make sure to get a hold of them. And make sure also to call in, man. We're going to start taking call-ins right now. So we are giving away 5 pairs of tickets. And after each commercial break, we'll announce the winners. So make sure to give us a call now at 773-966-2494. We are giving away tickets for none other than the big event, Professional Fighters League 2. So also coming up on the show, we're going to be talking about a lot of stuff that's been going on with the mixed martial arts. First of all, Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series is in the books. Week 1, I thought it was a great event. From what I gathered, I think it was a big success for them. You look at the fights, very competitive, but we got to see basically a rising star, none other than Greg Hardy. He came in there. This was his first professional fight. A lot of hype around him, and he lived up to it. First round knockout, of course, against former Chicago Bear and former, former NFL football player in Austin Lane, and that was a great fight. I mean, for Greg Hardy to go in there and just get that first round TKO finish, it couldn't have gone any way. But there's some backlash to this because of the fact that he was convicted for assault on an ex-girlfriend, although the charges had been dropped. Dana White's clearly saying that he's giving him a second chance. However, we're seeing some backlash because of Jessica Rose Clark, who also competes in the UFC, is a victim of domestic violence, and she's, among others, are speaking out against the decision to sign Greg Hardy and voicing their opinion, feeling that it's not a reason to be celebrated, but it's one to be understood. I get that. I understand where she is coming from, and this is the basically the controversy coming in here is that Would Greg Hardy being signed to the UFC, with his checkered past, is this going to be acceptable? Is this going to be a problem? And we don't know. It's honestly at this point we'll see. How it plays out, and he's going to be a very competitive fighter, of course, moving forward. And this is, he's trained in American Top Team. He's a really amazing fighter. I feel like he has a chance to go out there and do amazing things, but at the same time, he says he's a changed person and he wants to get an opportunity, and hopefully he's getting that opportunity. I feel like that, this is his time to go there and realize that it's going to be a good, he's gonna get a lot of people look at him at the wrong way and think like, what is this guy doing here? He shouldn't have the chance. But I believe in second chances, and I'm not saying I agree with Dana White. Just sign him right off the bat like this. But the fact remains, you want the best fighters to be in the promotion, and right now he's looking to be the best fighter in the promotion. I mean, that's what I'm saying. You want one of the best fighters that you could have outside of promotion, and sign him. It makes sense, but I understand everyone's point. It's something controversial moving forward. Of course, another big win. Of course, Montel Quick Jackson against Rico DeShulio. TKO'd him third round, but he suffered probably a round or 2 rounds that he was losing, and basically he came back and got the big finish. Needed to get that finish to win that fight. Ran into some trouble early on. Kevin Holland defeated Will Santiago Jr. by unanimous decision. And Chris Curtis defeated Sean Lally by TKO in the third round. Alonzo Meningfield in the main event defeated Dashawn Boatwright in the first round, 8 seconds. And he, along with Greg Hardy, are the winners of the UFC contract from Week 1 Tuesday Night Contender Series. And, that's really cool, man. I think that we're going to see some really good fights moving forward. Week 2, we see Mike Sales versus Yazan Yahay. Anthony Hernandez versus Jordan White. Giga Chikadze versus Austin Springer. Ryan Spann versus Emiliano Sordi. And Dwight Grant versus Tyler Hill. Going to be some really entertaining fights, so tune in tomorrow night for Dana White. Tonight, actually, for Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series. Of course, UFC Singapore is on the horizon and takes place this Saturday. And when time permitting, we will try to get our results in, or our predictions in, rather. And Donald Cerrone versus Leon Edwards is looking to be one hell of a main event. We got Tyson Pedro, Owen St. Preux, Jessica Rose Clark versus Jessica Ai, and Jing Liang Li versus Dashi Abe. Going to be some really entertaining fights over in Singapore, and make sure to catch the action. I think it's on early on Saturday. I don't have the specific times, but I gotta believe that it's going to be a day card for us in the U.S. and going to be exciting, of course. Always exciting to see Cowboy Donald Cerrone get in the octagon. Leon Edwards is a tough dude. Coming from the UK. He wanted a tough fight. He wanted a top 10 guy, and he's got it, man. He wanted Donald Cerrone. He called out Donald Cerrone several times. He feel like, many of the fighters he was taking on weren't at his level recently, including that victory over Peter Sabata. So now he gets the opportunity in the main event against Donald Cerrone, and I think that's going to be a barn burner. I think that's going to be an amazing main event, and make sure to check that out as well. And I feel like this Saturday, these two are definitely going to deliver one heck of a fight. Of course, what coming up on the show, we're going to talk to Jason High in studio, talking about his fight against Efrain Escudero at PFL 2, June 21st on NBC Sports Network. And guys, if you want to win tickets to PFL 2, make sure to give us a call, 773-966-2494. And at the top, between each commercial break, after the break, we'll announce the winners, of course. And we're giving away 5 pairs of tickets. So if you guys want to be in the house at the Chicago Theater, big fights: Kayla Harrison versus Brittany Elkin, of course. Will Brooks versus Louis Firmino. Brian Foster versus Randy Needham. You gotta call in. Give us a call in again, 773-966-2494. And we will be live, of course, till 2 p.m. So make sure to give us a call before then. The tickets are going to go fast as well. And make sure to tune in to Most Action Packed 2 hours, ChicagoLandSportsRadio.com every Tuesday, 12 p.m. and watch the live stream on Facebook. We had a little break from UFC action, of course, but UFC Singapore is next week. Of course, moving forward, UFC 226. What a fantastic card they're putting together for that. And I feel at this point, man, you're not going to get a better card this year. UFC 225, of course. We got to see an amazing main event between Robert Whittaker and Yoel Romero. That has to be probably the top fight of the year so far. And we'll see if UFC 226 can now do it. We've got two big title fights on the line. Holloway Ortega, Miocic versus Cormier. And another fight announced for that card, of course, is Lando Venata versus Drakkar Klose in the lightweight division. That's going to be a very competitive fight. Paris Melender, of course, takes on Max Griffin. We'll hear from him later on. So more to come on the fight board, so stay tuned. ChicagoLandSports.com. We'll be back.
Time to kick off your career in radio or TV broadcasting at the Illinois Media School's downtown Chicago campus. Call us at 312-884-8000 or visit 530 South State Street to learn how you can make your dreams of being on television and radio a reality. Don't take my word for it. Check out what some industry professionals said about the Illinois Media School.
Tom Waddle, ESPN 1000.
Don't waste another minute in a career you don't love. You can be the next great announcer, DJ, producer, or TV reporter. You'll learn key skills from industry pros while working with professional equipment on air and behind the scenes. Still need to keep the 9-to-5 job? Their flexible class schedules can work around any schedule. Short on cash? They have very affordable tuition and financial aid for those who qualify. You'll have access to amazing internships and job placement assistance when you graduate at top radio and TV stations like ESPN. Learn more at beonair.com/Chicago Sports. That's beonair.com/Chicago Sports.
Last time on the K-Trade Show.
What do you think was on JR's mind? And he knew what the question meant.
Oh, yeah.
He knew what the question meant. I can read his mind. You sitting up there with Charlie Brown's shorts on and a suit.
Listen to Kevin Trigoni and my new partner.
Is heavyweight champion of the world. You know who I am is Rather Reflex.
On the K-Trade Show every Monday night from 7 to 9 only on ChicagoLandSportsRadio.com.
This week on Deck. Find out if the Caps will finish the Stanley Cup. Or will the Vegas Golden Knights extend the series?
Welcome to the main event of the evening.
Plus, we get into the NBA Finals. Will the Warriors be back-to-back champs? I'm making people happy. Also, we get into Cubs and Sox baseball. Make sure to tune in On Deck with me, Charles Pryor Richie, Sid the Kid, and Corey Barber every Saturday from 2 to 4 p.m. on ChicagoLandSportsRadio.com.
John Lennon with the Fightlete report.
Rick, Amanda Nunes is the most dominant women's fighter today. Her heart is unmatched. Skills in striking are unparalleled. Came this close to breaking Raquel Pennington. The Lioness is hungry. She's going to fight Cyborg. I've got Amanda Nunes.
I'm going with Chris Cyborg on this. I give credit to Amanda Nunes with her courage because this fight's going to be bloody.
This is live Tuesday at 12 p.m. only on ChicagoLandSportsRadio.com.
Next time on the Penalty Box.
This is from someone posted on our Facebook. We're both on a Facebook group for Blackhawks. Mm-hmm. Somebody posted in there about what would they trade for Taves, something about whatever.
I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to trash on a team.
You can.
No, this is border. This is not top heavy.
Real smooth.
Take a seat in the penalty box. I'll take Nikos and the Goon. Tuesdays from 2 to 4 on ChicagoLandSportsRadio.com.
I am Raphael. Sadly, hockey and basketball seasons are over with right now. But we do have baseball season. We have the Cubs and the White Sox, and I will definitely talk about what they are doing in their young season so far, as well as any upcoming moves that the Bears might have this season in the NFL, which is right around the corner. Tune in every Monday from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. on ChicagoLandSportsRadio.com. It's not just sports, it's a way of life.
Wait, hold up. That's not right. The Rising Feminist Wrestling Show is here covering WWE, Impact Wrestling, Ring of Honor, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Money in the Bank, and NXT TakeOver. It is all about the honesty when it comes to promos, wrestling, and of course, Brock Lesnar. The wrestlers. The Rising Feminist Wrestling Show is more than just highlights. It is all about the fresh opinions when it comes to everything in wrestling. So come join me, Stephanie, aka the Feminist Voice of Wrestling, every Thursday from 2 to 4 on Chicagoland Sports Radio. It is not just sports, it's a way of life.
Tune into Students of the Game.
where Dr. Joseph Gregory and Dr. Christopher Rouse have the obvious answers.
Why were they dominated like that?
Why were they dominated like that? Because the Warriors were the better team. The Warriors scored more points.
All right, Captain Obvious. Can you get some specific reasons why this happened? Specific performing pieces,
Because the Warriors,
coaching strategies or something.
because the Warriors shot into the bathroom when the Cavs did. Students of the game, Tuesdays, 7 to 9 p.m. on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
I got started at IMS here as an instructor a couple years back after I had heard a couple of people I worked with were also instructors here. I'm always here if you need help with developing what you're passionate about. And that's what most people come here for. They have a passion. They want to do something. They want to do radio play-by-play. They want to do sports talk. They want to do updates, whatever it may be. My name is Freddie Hupner. I work at ESPN 1000 as a host and sports anchor, and I am IMS.
Flash to my stomach screaming.
All right, Sean Lang, you listen to the most action-packed 2 hours, ChicagolandSportsRadio.com, the Five-Port Professional Fighters League 2. Season 1 is going to be taking place, of course, June 21st, Chicago Theater. And, guys, if you want to win tickets, call the number 773-966-2494. After each commercial break, we'll announce the winner. We're giving away 5 pairs of tickets. And right now I'm going to introduce my next guest on the Fireport, so make sure to tune in. We're talking to a former UFC veteran lightweight, Jason High in studio. He's going to discuss his upcoming fight, Efrain Escudero, June 21st, NBC Sports Network, and 21-6. He trains at ATT, and big win over Carlos Fedor. Big win over Carlos Fedor in your PFL debut.
Yes.
In your inaugural fight.
Yes.
So, yeah, man, talk about that. Talk about getting this opportunity, man, to be in that tournament format of PFL. How important is that for you?
Yeah,
to
it's exciting, man. It's really exciting. I'm down to, it's a great format, be pretty busy this year, so I'm excited about that. And excited to get in there, perform at the Chicago Theater.
And you're guaranteed to at least fight, I think about 2-3 times this year, right?
Right.
This
Twice. Guaranteed 2,
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm going for all 5.
All right, right. And the headline, of course, it headlines in New York City at the end of the year. That's going to be the big championship tournament.
Yes.
Right. So that'll be the playoffs, of course. And right now we're in the middle of the regular season.
Right.
Actually, the start of the regular season.
Yep. Second event for the regular season coming this Thursday, June 21st, from the Chicago Theater. So it's going to be a great show. We got a lot of great lightweights and also 205 pounders, light heavyweights. So some big boys in there scrapping too. So it'll be fun.
Definitely. Is this something you have to explain to people when they ask you, like, how does MMA have a season and a playoff?
Sure.
How does that go?
The format is a little different, but me coming from wrestling, it's more familiar to me. So yeah, I do have to explain it sometimes, but it's basically a pool, and then you get ranked on the results of your 2 fights in the pool in the regular season quote. And then the playoffs is an 8-man tournament, so 8 out of the 12 will make the playoffs.
And talk about the win over Carlos Fedor. I mean, that was in Daytona. There was their inaugural event. Obviously, it was more like an exhibition as opposed to like a regular season fight.
Right? Yeah, I wouldn't call it an exhibition. It's still a fight.
But. Yeah, I'm not saying exhibition in the MMA sense, but
right. Yeah, that was fun, man. It was it was a great fight. It was outside in Florida. It had some adversity with the canvas being a little slippery, but it went well. I got the decision, and on to the next one.
And you feel like that's a performance people are going to recognize you and they're going to be following you throughout the rest of the season.
Sure. Yeah. Definitely.
Talk about how careful fighters need to be about supplements. I know that you currently grow your own vegetables and other food. Are you wary about
this guy's on the research? Yeah. So what was your question? Sorry.
Are you wary about supplements? And should fighters be wary about them?
Well, I mean, you definitely got to be conscious of what's going into your body, so, but yeah, I mean, I keep it pretty clean, like you said, I do grow my own vegetables and, but, obviously not enough for everybody to eat, like I have a couple plots that I grow vegetables out of, and, we definitely get some good stuff from that. Yeah, for sure.
So you don't really use the supplements as much?
I take like vitamins, multivitamin, stuff like that, so yeah.
And so many today, we get see so many fighters take these supplements. They didn't even know that there was illegal substances in them.
Right.
And they're complaining like, I didn't even know about it. And then they have to go through this rigorous testing of their supplement before they try it as well.
Yeah, I mean, generally, the ingredients are listed on the label, but sometimes there's like a cross contamination in the factory, or maybe the companies like putting illegal things into their product to increase the effectiveness.
Mhm.
So yeah, we see some of that. You just got to be conscious of what you're putting in.
Right. And I'm sure the stakes are very high with this. It's a season. So, I mean, if something like this happens, the suspension automatically takes you out of the fight.
Definitely.
Out of the season. Yeah. Tournament. You were an AMT and a bartender prior to this. Like, talk about, does fighting mean that you handle the pressure well?
Who you been talking to? Yeah, this guy knows everything. Yeah, I was an EMT. Man, when I first started fighting, I had 3 jobs. I was working 3 jobs, all hours of the day, and training when I could, So I was an EMT. We would work 24-hour shifts, and then I was bartending, and I was also working for Budweiser, stocking beer. So I'd get off at the bar at 2 or 3 at night, and then go right into my beer route, stocking beer, and then be at the EMT shop the next morning. So that's just a sacrifice you got to make if you want to make some stuff happen. So I'm fortunate now to be able to train full time.
Mhm.
So it's it's paid off a little bit.
Definitely, man.
Yeah,
it's good to know. And I'm sure starting off as well, it's hard, training full
Right.
time and then fighting and
Yeah.
So
Is all this
job.
info on my Wikipedia page or something? I've been doing research, hitting the Google. for
Yeah,
sure.
and definitely, man. I want to get everybody to know you. Give you a reason to tune in.
Definitely.
And so everybody tune in NBC Sports. If you're not going to the fights, but you're fighting up in Escudero. Like, what do you expect from him? Is this guy that you scouted before previously in your career? You guys were kind of in the UFC around the same time.
Well, I never really. I mean, I've definitely seen him fight. He was on Tough 8, So I've seen him fight and known him. He's been around for a long time, so he's a name that I knew. I got this on short notice though, so the opponent changed just last week. So we did do some scouting though and watch some video, and we definitely did our homework. I'm ready.
Yeah, and you might be a little more hostile crowd. I know he's from the area. Like, I
Is
think
he?
well, he used to train up in Wisconsin. So are you expecting like?
Yeah. Is that the area? I don't know. I'm from Kansas City, so
Right.
yeah, I'm Midwestern too, so I don't really. That doesn't bother me at all though. The crowd can't get in there and fight for him.
Right. And Chicago Theater is a really great venue for MMA. I mean, the Bellator MMA was there as well.
Right.
It's very intimate. Like, you're anticipating like a really hot crowd.
Yeah, man. I like to draw energy from the crowd, and I've heard the Chicago Theater is beautiful, so I'm excited to fight there. For sure.
And $1 million is going to be on the line in this lightweight tournament. Yeah. How does that change your life if you receive that?
Man, I'm not even looking that far ahead.
Right.
Man. There's a lot of work to be done before I touch that million. So
Mhm.
I'm just focusing on Efrain, and then after Efrain's done, we'll focus on the next one.
Ideally, like, how do you get out of this fight healthy and to continue on the tournament? There's been a talk about like a lot of fighters are going to just try to play it safe throughout the fights, especially the earlier in the season, so they can make it to the playoffs. How do you approach that?
I've been pretty fortunate in my career to be injury free. So I feel like I'm pretty durable, and I'm not playing anything safe, man. I'm in there to fight. So I really am not thinking about the season at all. It'll take care of itself. I take care of this fight, and then I worry about the next fight and the season. I'm prepared. I prepared for. I got started early. Preparing for this, and that was my preparation for the season. Just
Sure.
being in shape coming into this fight and getting a running start. So I'm not worried about. I'm not playing it safe. I'm going out there fighting my style and just getting wins.
Right. And, what do you think about American Top Team, man? Some of the people that you've had help you there get to that next level. Like, how long you've been training there, and how has the process been?
Well, I was at American Top Team for my previous camps, and I was there for Man, like 5 years. I wasn't actually physically there. I was, commuting back and forth. I lived in Kansas City, so I'd fly down there. But this camp, coming into it, we knew that initially there was a third in this lightweight weight class. A third of the fighters were going to be American Top Team guys. 4 of us. So I didn't really want to go down there and train in that environment. So I went to Jackson Wink, and I've been there, and in New Mexico, Albuquerque, and it's been great. I've had a great camp. This is my first experience with them, and they've been more than accommodating, and learning a lot of new stuff, and I feel like it's going to be definitely a benefit.
Okay, definitely. Yeah, I think that's what you're trying to let me know.
Yeah.
But how's that experience been? I mean, they've got so many great fighters across all the weight divisions. Like, who's been helping you out specifically?
I've been working with Coach Wink, Coach Jackson, Frank Lester came with me. Coach Wink's going to be here as well. But I mean, there's a lot of people down there, just training partners and great coaches, and just great MMA minds. So I'm excited to be able to show off some of the new stuff that I've been learning down there.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, so it's good to freshen things up now and then, right?
Yeah,
and learn from new faces.
Right. Yeah, I felt like career goes in transitions, so I just felt like this was a great time to make the change and go down and check out a new spot.
Right. I'm glad it worked out for you. And what can we expect at PFL 2? Like, what are you looking to have people say after this performance of Efrain Escudero?
That he got his ass whooped. That's what I'm looking for people to say about him. Efrain Escudero, but got his ass whooped.
Right. So just business.
Just business. It's always business.
Right. And then recently, Greg Hardy, he won the Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series. He got an opportunity. Like, did you have an opportunity to meet him or talk to him when you were at the American Top Team? Like, what do you think of the fact that he's come in there?
I did. We were staying in the dorms actually together, but we didn't really chop it up that much, So I've never really met him or had a conversation with him at all.
Any thoughts about how he just came in there and got the contract despite his checkered past?
It is what it is, man. I mean, if the UFC's co-signing domestic abusers, that's their business, not mine,
Right.
But man, I don't have any thoughts about that. I mean, I don't put my hands on my lady. I grew up with some domestic abuse in the house, and that'll never be me. So I don't F with anybody that does that either. So that's just my opinion.
I got you. And moving forward, man, PFL, of course, Professional Fighters League is going to be putting on many different events. And is there any place that you'd like to perform in? Like, would you like to go back to Kansas City to perform in any particular city?
Dude, I'm looking forward to going to New York. Honestly,
Okay.
I love the city, man. I was just talking to Ann here, sitting beside me. Just Chicago. I really love the city atmosphere, and we had a couple friends that lived in New York, and it's just so convenient, to be in the city and be able to walk and get what you need and not have to mess with the car and all that stuff. So I love New York too. And yeah, that's on my list, for sure. Check that off before I retire,
I got you. Yeah, I think that's a dream for most fighters to go there and perform there.
Right.
Especially once they got the athletic commission approved.
Yeah, that was encouraging, because New York's had many historic boxing fights there, so we want to get in that action too, as MMA fighters.
Definitely, man. I mean, I think it's going to be a great opportunity, especially for the fact that everybody's going to get their chance, to earn their title shot.
Right. Yeah, that's one of the things that's definitely attractive. With we mentioned the UFC, and there's a lot of shenanigans going on there with title shots. Are they deserved, and who deserves them, and who gets them, and that I like how the PFL has taken the ambiguity out of that process. They're just you keep winning and you get the title shot, which is how it should be.
Definitely. Well, you seem very relaxed for a fight week, and I want to thank you, Jason, for being on the Fight Report today. Anyone you'd like to thank?
Man, I got to thank everybody at Jackson Wink. Thank all my people back home at American Top Team KC as well.
Okay, great. Well, hey, Jason, thank you very much for taking time to be on the Fight Report today, and best of luck Thursday.
Anytime. Thank you guys for having me.
No problem. Anytime. We'll be back on the Fight Report on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com after this.
Career in radio or TV broadcasting at the Illinois Media School's downtown Chicago campus. Call us at 312-884-8000 or visit 530 South State Street to learn how you can make your dreams of being on television and radio a reality. Don't take my word for it. Check out what some industry professionals said about the Illinois Media School.
Jonathan Hood, ESPN 1000. People often ask me, Hoodie, how can I be a sports radio guy like you? I tell them it takes drive and determination, and you need to learn how it all works. You can learn to be a sports talk show host, a producer, do play-by-play, and shoot and edit video. You'll have a chance to get internships at stations where you can tap into the knowledge of industry pros. With job placement assistance, you can start your new career in 1 year. It's a great school to get the hands-on training you need for a broadcasting career, doing what you love. They have affordable tuition and financial aid for those who qualify. So don't waste another minute. Go to beonair.com/Chicago Sports. That's beonair.com/Chicago Sports.
John Lennon with the Fightlete report. Rick, Amanda Nunes is the most dominant women's fighter today. Her heart is unmatched. Skills in striking are unparalleled. Game this close to breaking Raquel Pennington. The Lioness is hungry. She's going to fight Cyborg. I've got Amanda Nunes.
I'm going with Chris Cyborg on this. I give credit to Amanda Nunes with her courage because this fight is going to be bloody.
This is live Tuesday at 12 p.m. only on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com. All right, Sean Land back here on the most action back 2 hours, ChicagolandSportsRadio.com. And Jason, hi. It's all yours, man.
I forgot one shout. I appreciate
no
you
problem.
For letting me make it. We got a podcast that me and my friend have been doing. It's called the Trap House Variety Hour on iTunes. So I'd like to shout out my homie Ramon Larkin and go check out the Trap House Variety Hour for sure.
Excellent, man. Yeah, well, I'll be checking it out for sure. So yeah, best of luck, man, and thanks for taking time to be on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. Anytime. And make sure to check out Professional Fire Leagues 2, June 21st, Thursday. Jason High takes on Efrain Escudero. Stay tuned to most action-packed 2 hours. ChicagolandSportsRadio.com. The Fight Report will be back.
Are you on a show or whatever on iTunes?
Radio or TV broadcasting at the Illinois Media School's downtown Chicago campus. Call us at 312-884-8000 or visit 530 South State Street to learn how you can make your dreams of being on television and radio a reality. Don't take my word for it. Check out what some industry professionals said about the Illinois Media School.
Jonathan Hood, ESPN 1000. People often ask me, Hoodie, how can I be a sports radio guy like you? I tell them it takes drive and determination, and you need to learn how it all works. You can learn to be a sports talk show host, a producer, do play-by-play, and shoot and edit video. You'll have a chance to get internships at stations where you can tap into the knowledge of industry pros. With job placement assistance, you can start your new career in 1 year. It's a great school to get the hands-on training you need for a broadcasting career, doing what you love. They have affordable tuition and financial aid for those who qualify. So don't waste another minute. Go to beonair.com/Chicago Sports. That's beonair.com/Chicago Sports.
Time to kick off your career in radio or TV broadcasting at the Illinois Media School's downtown Chicago campus. Call us at 312-884-8000 or visit 530 South State Street to learn how you can make your dreams of being on television and radio a reality. Don't take my word for it. Check out what some industry professionals said about the Illinois Media School.
Jonathan Hood, ESPN 1000. People often ask me, Hoodie, how can I be a sports radio guy like you? I tell them it takes drive and determination, and you need to learn how it all works. You can learn to be a sports talk show host, a producer, do play-by-play, and shoot and edit video. You'll have a chance to get internships at stations where you can tap into the knowledge of industry pros. With job placement assistance, you can start your new career in 1 year. It's a great school to get the hands-on training you need for a broadcasting career, doing what you love. They have affordable tuition and financial aid for those who qualify. So don't waste another minute. Go to beonair.com/Chicago Sports. That's beonair.com/Chicago Sports.
John Lennon with the Fightlete report. Rick, Amanda Nunes is the most dominant women's fighter today. Her heart is unmatched. Skills in striking are unparalleled. Game this close to breaking Raquel Pennington. The Lioness is hungry. She's going to fight Cyborg. I've got Amanda Nunes.
I'm going with Chris Cyborg on this. I give credit to Amanda Nunes with her courage because this fight is going to be bloody.
Listen live Tuesday at 12 p.m. only on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
This week on Deck. Find out if the Caps will finish the Stanley Cup.
It's Ovechkin with the first goal of the game.
Or will the Vegas Golden Knights extend the series?
Welcome to the main event of the evening.
Plus, we get into the NBA Finals. Will the Warriors be back-to-back champs? I'm making people happy. Also, we get into Cubs and Sox baseball. Make sure to tune in On Deck with me, Charles Pryor Richie, Sid the Kid, and Corey Barber every Saturday from 2 to 4 p.m. on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
It's a great time to be a sports fan in Chicago. The Bears have wrapped up OTAs. We're less than 2 weeks away from the NBA draft, and the Cubs and Sox are well into their seasons. On Second City Sports, we break down and analyze all the latest breaking news and notes from across the sports landscape. So join Jay Pfeiffer and Lakina McGee every Thursday from 12 to 2 p.m. only on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com, where it's not just sports, it's a way of life.
All right, Charlene, back on the most action-packed 2 hours, ChicagolandSportsRadio.com, the Fight Board. And thanks to Jason Hyde for taking time to be on the Fight Board today. This guy's also a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu expert, man. Having been on ESPN's Top Plays of the Day when he submitted Mike Ricci at World Series of Fighting, 31st, 31, actually by knockout. But he's also won the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Federation World Championship in 2012. Next time we'll have him on the show. We'll get to dive in further, but best of luck to him. But right now, we're going to introduce my next guest on the Fightlete Report. So tuning in, make sure to tune in. We have Sick Jitsu head coach Rick Little. He's going to be joining me on the show, talking about his fighters competing, including Michael Chiesa, who fights Anthony Pettis at UFC 226. Sick Jitsu's located in Spokane, Washington, home also to Juliana Pena, Sam Cecilia, Daniel Spitz, and Elizabeth Phillips, and we welcome him to the show. Rick, thank you for taking time to be on the show today. How's everything going with you?
Oh, it's going great. Glad to be on.
Excellent, man. And talk about how you got started in MMA. You developed the Sick Jitsu fighting system. What is that? For people who don't know.
I'm glad. I haven't really been asked that before. I'm glad. It's just, to me, it's a no BS Jitsu type of system because MMA is just filled with a lot of BS. I mean, everybody's just learning moves out there and techniques and stuff that is just kind of a whole umbrella of stuff of endless learning. But basically, it's what I believe actually works and doesn't work in a fight. So it's kind of a stolen art form. You know, I take what I think's best out of all the arts and use it, and then, you know, don't use stuff that you think is ridiculous. And there's a lot of ridiculous moves out there. A lot of YouTube stuff you could be doing, but it doesn't work in the cage.
Sure. So this is definitely a proven method. Like, you've had the opportunity to use it, of course, when you competed and maybe when people came up to you in the wrong way, right?
Yeah, that's true. But although it's funny you say that, when I competed, I wasn't very good. I didn't really have any coaching. I just kind of all by myself set up by, you know, promoters and everything. And I wasn't that good, but it's not stopped me from being a decent coach.
Yeah, definitely, man. You've got Michael Chiesa under your tutelage, and of course, Sam Cecilia, Daniel Spitz, fighters in the UFC and Bellator. Right now, I want to talk about Michael Chiesa. I mean, how do you feel he does against Pettis? You know, people have this as a very close matchup. I've heard they can go either side. And does delaying the fight have any bearing on this outcome? Because Mike Chiesa, unfortunately, suffered that injury prior to the original scheduled contest in April.
Yeah, that's a good, you know, it's good to be politically correct in these interviews, but it's not delaying the fight doesn't matter. The inevitable. Michael's a better fighter to me, way better fighter, and I think it'll come out pretty clearly that night. I think, well, never in round one. Mike's the slowest starter on earth, but midway through round two, you'll see what I mean.
And did you feel like he got a bad deal when he fought Kevin Lee? Do you feel like the fight was stopped too early? And
100% I do. I do. But there's two sides to it. I mean, I'm a corner man, so don't get me wrong. I was also freaking out. I wasn't exactly excited about the position he was in. I knew that we were at 98% danger on the meter there, but he's always been one of those guys since I've been coaching him as a kid that's flirted with the brink of defeat to winning. He's always been that way. It's how we won the Ultimate Fighter.
Mm-hmm.
Literally all of his matches would come from behind. Literally his fight from Jim Miller was come from behind. His fight with Beneil Dariush has come from behind, and all of them. So he was dead. He was dead in the water, as most people say, but it is a palm-to-palm choke, and people don't realize that a tough person can withstand a palm-to-palm choke. You know what I mean? It's half of its pain. It's not the kind of choke that puts you to sleep usually.
Right.
So, like a normal rear naked. So if we're going to stop the fight on pain, now I'm really pissed off. Now, granted, Kevin Lee has some good angles, so there's blood choke going on there. But either way, you got to let the person go to sleep.
Right.
So it was stopped very prematurely. I really do believe he was going to survive the rest of the round. Kevin Lee had Ally Quinta in just as much trouble. And the best argument we could have is that very night, the two girls. People forgot that there's a girl who crapped herself in the cage from getting choked so brutally and deeply that if we all hit the pause button, we all would have said, "Oh, she's not getting out of it."
Drew.
All of us. So you can now we do the same thing with Mike and say, "Oh, he wouldn't have got out of it." That's not really fair to say, especially when Mike's twice a high level grappler, the girl that got out.
Right.
So it's just, and that's how we're taught. A lot of people think it's an excuse. To me, choke that deep needs to be fought with your neck and shoulders and not with your hands.
Mm-hmm.
Hand fighting a deep choke to me is a waste of time and a waste of angles, frankly. Putting your hands up by your chin. It creates a loop that I don't like. I'm more a fan of having your hands down and your shoulders up, especially on palm to palm. So your shoulders and your shrug motion is your defense on that kind of choke. So people that are saying he wasn't hand fighting, to me, don't know what they're doing. You don't hand fight. He doesn't have a gi on. You're not pulling the sleeve of a gi.
Right.
You don't hand fight a deep palm to palm like that. That doesn't even make sense. One behind your head. So. Yeah, he got robbed, in my opinion. I will say this, with 100% certainty, he was going to win that fight in the next two rounds.
Right.
Kevin Lee was already burnt out like he always is, and Kevin Lee's a one-round, monster in round one. But the way Mike fights and the way Kevin fights, we literally knew we were going to lose round one. We had that in the plan. We knew he's coming out hot. We were going to let him burn himself out a little, and then it's going to be a round 2 or 3 takeover. And he had 5 rounds that night. There was no way Kevin Lee would have made it to the end of that fight. It's the way Mike picks up steam.
Sure.
So, and one more thing about it is, if you were to stop the fight after round 1 with Beneil Dariush, Mike got 10-8'd against Beneil Dariush.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, let's just say they stopped the fight on the stool. No, everybody would have just said, "Oh man, Mike sucked. He got smoked by Dariush." But like I said, he comes on later. He's just that type of an athlete. He's a Kenyan long distance runner in the sprinting of fighting. So round 2 and 3 is when he is just getting going. And you saw with Beneil Dariush, he literally finished it after that when he wanted to finish it in round 2, and that's what would happen with Kevin Lee. No different. And Jim Miller. Same, they were all the same. All those fights were the same except for Kevin Lee's got stopped early.
Right. Pettis is showing a lot of improved wrestling along with the striking. What challenge does he present, Michael?
Nothing that any of these other guys haven't seen. Pettis is more of a name to me than anything.
Sure.
He's no more dangerous than the Kevin Lee and the guys that he's been fighting, and the Masvidals, and he's fought Masvidal and some guys. There's nothing that he hasn't seen. So, if you don't get caught up in all the hype of him, then I think there's nothing else. I just don't think that's a good matchup on paper. I'm not happy with like I said, the Kevin Lee stoppage. I believe Mike's on a hot streak. I believe he was going to win that fight. And so I believe Mike's still hot. He doesn't feel like he lost. He doesn't have the mannerisms of someone that lost. He's ready to go. And I feel like you have a fighter coming in incredibly hot against a fighter coming in not so hot.
When a fighter loses, like how long do you wait to get them another fight and find out where their head is at? I know Daniel Spitz, his career now is 6-2. Like how long does he have till you want to get him back in that cage?
Well, that's a good question too. I mean, he suffered a brutal break in his fight that he won in the UFC, his 20-something second knockout, and it's never really healed properly, and which caused a lot of atrophy in his arm. And he had to jump back in there. You know, these guys got to make money, and he came too soon because the first kick that he blocked in his last fight broke his arm. I don't know if you knew that or not.
Yeah.
Snapped his ulna.
Oof.
And I truly believe he would have won that fight. So, but, you know, that's now, I mean, mentally he's ready to go. But, you know, now he has to really take care of these injuries. Now he has the same injury that Paige Van Zandt had, and hers didn't go so well. She's still struggling with it. So you got to be really careful coming back early from this stuff. You know, we learned our lesson on this fight on coming back early from an injury at this level. If you get hit in the right spot, you're going to be exposed. You know, and that's exactly what happened. He happened to have a right arm injury, and he got kicked in the right arm. Kind of fluky, but it cost him a fight that I believe he would have won. And for the general public, they don't know that his arm was broke in the first 20 seconds. Wow. So they just see a guy dancing around in there. It doesn't look like they are fighting that hard. But, you know, that's hard, especially when the guy's continually kicking you on that arm. You know, so I was pretty impressed with him gutting it out 10 more minutes with that. I mean, you can't punch with that arm and you can't block kicks with it. You're in trouble, especially when you're fighting a lefty and you're right-handed.
Right. Also, I want to ask you about Sam Cecilia. I mean, he came out at Bellator 198, made it a fight against Emmanuel Sanchez. Like, what mistake did you make that led to that submission loss?
Sam's mistakes are always simple. You guys see Sam in the gym. He's flawless. He's amazing. He's virtually impossible to catch in the gym. I just think these moments he gets a little too ahead of himself, and he freezes up a little. That's I don't know. That's just I don't think it's a physical thing. I don't think it was an error. We know that Manny was going to get catches on him, but you know the difference in the submission game between a catch and a finish is huge.
Right.
We've all wrestled and submission wrestled. We've all been caught in holds and near falls and near holds, but to actually finish them all, you know, they take a few errors, you know, and he's just freezing up a little. He just froze up in there a little bit, you know, and I think the more you want it in there, sometimes the more you're apt to have that happen.
Right.
You know, I mean, he trained his butt off for that fight.
Yeah. Definitely.
So I don't think it's something that you can fix in the gym. You know, so I just think it's something that he needs to fix in his mind in these wild scrambles and wild brawls he gets into. That I just think with a little fine tuning, he can turn those around in his direction. I mean, you know, you saw that's the kind of fight he needs to fight, and the way it was going, you guys could see it was turning out to be a coin flip fight if he fights, you know, the way he was fighting. You know, we just need the coin to go our way.
Yeah, I agree, man. It was definitely one of those fights that could go in either way. Professionally, do you feel like fighters in their camps lack the proper knowledge for successful weight cuts?
I do. Yeah, I do. I mean, I don't have anything to really back that, but I just believe a lot of people also don't know how to train and don't know how to do anything in the sport, but they get away with it off athletic ability and mental toughness. You know what I mean? I mean, a lot of fighters are so good out there, it doesn't really matter their camp. I really believe that. They're just so talented, it doesn't matter their camp. Just kind of like it doesn't matter who was Michael Jordan's head coach. I don't really give that much credit to Phil Jackson when they were winning championships.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's like, so, you know, you got such tough guys out there cutting weight, mentally tough guys are going to make it either way. But, you know, my guess, and it's just a guess, is that people have no clue what they're doing. Yes, that's my guess.
Yeah.
I have nothing to substantiate that, though.
Mm-hmm. And then
I
Julian,
just know what we do, and we've never not made weight. So, only time in the history of my gym we've never not made weight was with Elizabeth Phillips. And that's when she just checked out. I don't know what happened to her, but after the UFC and she got cut, I just lost control of her completely. Stopped going to practice, stopped doing a lot of things. And then we showed up to Invicta and she was 6 pounds over,
right.
which is nothing for fight week. She was 6 pounds over and we had 6 days to go. And she weighed in at 5.5 over. She just refused to do it.
Right.
So that was the only time that's embarrassingly ever happened. But other than that, I've never had an issue with it. And that I don't even count. That wasn't even, she didn't even attempt to do it. So,
right.
You know, so yeah, I believe we have a good method at our place. I'm definitely not going to say it on air so everyone else does it. I believe we have an advantage with it.
Okay. I don't blame you. Julia Pena was ranked number 3, and I know her last camp, she did it in Chicago after a pregnancy. And do you have any feelings about her possibly returning to train with you? If that happens?
Well, yeah, and that's the problem is she didn't really do a camp. That's the whole problem. She didn't really do a camp in Chicago. She played lovey-dove and fell in love and went to Chicago and lived with somebody and they dinked around what new lovers do, which I have nothing against. But then Dana and Sean calling her to constantly fight because I already told them no. I said, no, she's not anywhere near the gym. She's out in La La Land. You know, and saying she's going to get married to the love of her life. She's nowhere near the gym ready to fight. And they called her like 2 or 3 times and maybe more until she said yes and got her to fight. And then so all of a sudden she calls me and she's like, hey, we're fighting in we're fighting in like 5 weeks. Can we get ready? What do we do?
Right.
And it was just a mess from there on. We were like meeting in different cities and it was just a mess. It just wasn't ready for that fight. There was no camp. I don't consider that a camp. Half of it was trying to organize where everybody's going and everything and showing up fight week. We showed up Denver 2 weeks early for fight week so we could train together. And she probably got 1 week of training in Chicago and 1 week in another city and then 2 in Denver before the fight.
I got you. So maybe this time.
I mean, I've had her in my system since she's a kid. And, you know, she's always been in the gym. I've never not seen her in the gym. Even when she tore her knee and had surgery, she was in the gym the day she got out of the hospital. And I hadn't seen her for 2 months when she fell in lovey-dove. So when they're calling me and saying, hey, is she ready to go? There was 2 answers. Hell no, because she deserves a title fight. She's won 7 straight if you count the Ultimate Fighter. You have people in the Ultimate Fighter getting titles right when they graduate from the Ultimate Fighter.
Right.
You have people getting title fights in the UFC at 2-0. She's won 7 straight in front of people. You know, so I said that we're not taking anything that isn't in the title.
Right.
Kat Zingano just trashed Amanda Nunes back then, and then we just beat Kat. We're like, there's no other fight we're taking.
Sure.
But again, they called her direct and used some magic wand and got her to do it. So I really hope they appreciate that because she did it because they asked and they needed her supposedly for the main event, but it wasn't good for her career. She was in no spot of time ready for that fight, even though I still believe she could have won it.
Yeah, that showed. Rick, we're out of time, but I want to thank you again for taking time to be on the Fight Port today. And best of luck in the future, and please come back on the show. Best of luck at UFC 226.
Yep. And I also, there's 2 names you didn't mention, 2 up-and-comers. Tyler McGuire just signed to 1FC.
Okay.
Watch him July 13th. He's fighting Luis Santos. You guys know who that is. He's got 68 wins as a welterweight. And the guy that fought Ben Askren to a no contest. And we're fighting him, and we're going to be the new Ben Askren in 1. So I think we're going to end up with that title. So watch Tyler McGuire, and then I also have July 21st, Terrence McKinney. He's also an up-and-comer. Those are two names that you're going to probably be talking to in the next year, and you're going to want to talk to them.
Sounds good. I'll definitely keep an eye out.
All right.
Thanks a lot,
Thanks
Rick.
for your time, guys.
Thank you. Bye. That was Rick Little on the Five Port, and more to come. Make sure to give us a call in to Windows Ticket 773-966-2494, or just comment on the Facebook Live or inbox me as well. So stay tuned. You listen to Most Action Packed 2 hours. ChicagolandSportsRadio.com. The Five Port after this.
Your career in radio or TV broadcasting at the Illinois Media School's downtown Chicago campus. Call us at 312-884-8000 or visit 530 South State Street to learn how you can make your dreams of being on television and radio a reality. Don't take my word for it. Check out what some industry professionals said about the Illinois Media School.
Jonathan Hood, ESPN 1000. People often ask me, Hoodie, how can I be a sports radio guy like you? I tell them it takes drive and determination, and you need to learn how it all works. You can learn to be a sports talk show host, a producer, do play-by-play, and shoot and edit video. You'll have a chance to get internships at stations where you can tap into the knowledge of industry pros. With job placement assistance, you can start your new career in 1 year. It's a great school to get the hands-on training you need for a broadcasting career, doing what you love. They have affordable tuition and financial aid for those who qualify. So don't waste another minute. Go to beonair.com/Chicago Sports. That's beonair.com/Chicago Sports.
John Lennon with the Fightlete report. Rick, Amanda Nunes is the most dominant women's fighter today. Her heart is unmatched. Skills in striking are unparalleled. Game this close to breaking Raquel Pennington. The Lioness is hungry. She's going to fight Cyborg. I've got Amanda Nunes.
I'm going with Chris Cyborg on this. I give credit to Amanda Nunes with her courage because this fight is going to be bloody.
This is live Tuesday at 12 p.m. only on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
You're listening to ChicagolandSportsRadio.com. It's not just sports, it's a way of life.
Chicagoland Sports Radio Sports Update.
At 1:01 p.m., Sean Levy, your ChicagolandSportsRadio.com update brought to you by Illinois Media School. For more information on careers in broadcasting, make sure to go to beonair.com. The Chicago Cubs lost to the St. Louis Cardinals 5-0 Sunday. They play today with LA Dodgers. It's a doubleheader. Game 1 is at 1 p.m. Second game is at 7 p.m. Chicago White Sox lost to Cleveland Indians yesterday. They play again 6:10 p.m. Central. World Cup Sunday. Costa Rica lost to Serbia 1-0. Mexico beat Germany in an upset 1-0. Brazil defeated versus Switzerland was a tie 1-1. Yesterday, Sweden beat South Korea 1-0. Belgium beat Panama 3-0, and England beat Tunisia 2-1. Today's game, Japan beat Colombia 2-1. Colombia players got the red card. This update has been brought to you by Chicago Dogs Baseball. The next home game broadcast will be June 19th when they take on the Texas Air Hogs at 7:05 p.m. For tickets, visit thechicagodogs.com. I'm Sean Lang. You're listening to Chicagoland Sports Radio. Or not just sports, it's a way of life. All right, Sean Lang, you listen to the most action-packed 2 hours, ChicagolandSportsRadio.com. Thanks to Rick Little of Sick Jitsu in Spokane, Washington. Give us a call and give us some insight on his fighters. Really appreciated that. I think he was a great guest. Love to have him back on again. But next up, I'm going to introduce my next guest on the show. We talked to Juan the Kraken Adams, Houston heavyweight professional, and he's talking about his upcoming fight against Sean Teed. Dana White using that Contender Series Week 7 on UFC Fight Pass. Check it out July 31st. And Juan, who's an LFA veteran, trains at the Paradigm Training Center in Houston, Texas, and is undefeated 3-0, all by finishes. And we talk about his upcoming fight, of course, a Tuesday night Contender Series. Juan, thank you for taking time to be on the Fight Port.
What's up, man? How are you?
Doing well, man. Thanks for taking time to be on the show. And we were a month out away from the fight, a little bit over a month. Like, how's everything going for you, man, training wise?
Honestly, man, it's going amazing. I feel stronger than ever. I just actually quit my job last week, so I'm training full time now, and I'm really seeing all the results and all that hard work starting to pay off. So I'm really excited.
What career did you leave to come do this full time?
I was actually a loan coordinator.
Okay.
My degree was in computer science. All I really learned in college was that that's not what I want to do. So I was lucky. I had some connects within the banking industry, and I was a loan coordinator in the mortgage department down here. Before that, I was actually running. I was head of security at a few nightclubs, and I was staffing security at a couple places. And I quit that about a year and a half ago. So I've been in the mortgage industry for about 2.5, 3 years, and it was just time to get out.
Well, I'm glad that you had the opportunity to do this full time. I think that it's going to be beneficial for anyone that is a fighter, man, to just do this full time, right?
Right, exactly. It's honestly, there comes a point where you take a step up in competition, and you have to kind of flip that switch from doing this as a hobby, just for fun, into treating it like a career, like a job.
Yeah, man. You say like hobby for fun, man. I mean, you're getting, physically assaulted or you're assaulting someone. It's hard to imagine just doing that as a hobby, right?
Yeah, but some guys have weird tastes like that and they like it. So I don't get hit a lot. So it's but I gotta prepare myself for the occasion when it might happen.
Right. Well, I mean, looking at your upcoming fight, Tuesday Night Contender Series, Dana White's going to be present. Like, talk about that opportunity. Is this something that you envisioned since it started last year?
Yeah, we definitely envisioned something like this. I really didn't think it would happen this fast, but I kind of take every opportunity that comes. I try and make the most of everything. And when we got the call and the option presented itself, of course we said yeah. And once the contract was signed, we started preparation.
Definitely, man. Who's been getting you ready for this one?
Well, I was at Elevation for a little bit.
Okay.
Helping Curtis get ready for this fight. So I've actually been out there twice in the past few months. Right after my last fight, I actually went out to Jackson Wink, working with Coach Winklejohn, cleaning up a couple things, but the last 3 weeks or so, I came back down to Houston and been back with my main crew the whole time. There's Ryan Casey Baker. He's my strength and conditioning coach and my nutritionist. Works all my athletics and all that stuff. So I've been spending a lot of time with him. We're pretty much doing something every day with him. Then I've got my striking coaches, or my striking coach, David Kelly, out of the Fight Lab. So that's out in Katy. It's about an hour drive. So I wake up in the morning, drive out there. Then from there, I come back over to Houston, train, and then I go spar twice a week at Paradigm Training Center, which is my home gym. And that's it. Those three components of it.
Yeah, man. With all the traveling, I imagine that you have to do this full time.
Yeah. Well, before I was doing it full time, I'd wake up at 4:45, drive out to Katy, be there by 6, train from 6 to 7. It's about an hour drive back in. There was an LA Fitness across the highway from my job, so I would shower there, go straight from there to work, clock in. Then on my lunch break, I would go, grab a quick bite to eat. And then I would get off at 2 or 3 o'clock. And from there, when it's in season, I coach wrestling.
Oh, wow.
Out of season, I would go straight from there to my strength and conditioning workout. And then from my strength and conditioning workout, I would usually go to sparring twice a week. So it was intense.
It sounds like it, man. It's a crazy schedule. What do you feel like you're going to offer that the other fighters on the Tuesday Night Contender Series won't?
Well, one, I think I'm a I'm a little better looking than most of them. And two, just a good camera presence. I speak well. I can give a good interview. And on top of all that, before we even get to the physical aspects, once you get to the physical aspects, then it's there. You don't see heavyweights that look like me out there. You don't see guys that cut down to 265 that can move the way I do, that are as athletic as me, that have the same presence in the cage as I do. And, it's different. And I feel like all that is something that no other fighter on this show offers.
I mean, you've been finishing guys. Like, what do you contribute that success to?
It's just my mentality, man, and the way I've grown up, the way I've trained, and everything I've been through. It's taught me to, when there's an opportunity, you take it, you jump on it, and you seize it, give it everything you have. And I carry that mentality into the cage, and that's why when I do have a chance to finish, I take it. I don't let guys survive because I don't know when I'm going to get another chance to end the fight.
The LFA has seemed to be priding themselves on the NCAA of mixed martial arts, and we have over 100 fighters now in UFC. How do you feel fighting there has prepared you?
Could you repeat that real quick?
Oh, LFA, it seems to be the NCAA of MMA. We have over 100 fighters now. Like, how do you feel it's prepared you to be there?
I mean, it definitely prepared me. They've been great in finding me opponents. That's been a huge issue throughout my career. I think there's only been 2 of my 7 fights total where I haven't had to change an opponent, and one of which was with LFA, and the other one was like my amateur debut. So guys back out all the time, and LFA was definitely able to always find a replacement in time, get me there. I got experience being with media coverage and all those good things, and making sure I had all my paperwork together and all that. So I learned a lot from working with LFA, and if things don't work out here, I'd hope to get a chance to work with them again.
Yeah, for sure, man. I'm sure they're going to make a big fight for you coming off the Contender Series if you don't get the contract, but hopefully everything goes your way.
Right.
How do you envision the performance winning you the contract?
I mean, I honestly envision it going like every other one of my fights. I think against me, it's really hard to game plan. One, because there's not a whole lot of film on me.
Mm-hmm.
And two, I mean, I approach each fight differently. I approach each opponent differently. So I see it going, my coaches tell me I don't even watch film with my opponents. So I let my coaches do all that, my trainers. And so they say he's going to do one thing, what he always does. He likes to, come forward. He likes to go for the takedown. I'm positive he's never gone against anyone with my wrestling pedigree. And if he tries to take me down, it's not going to work. So I'm not too worried about that. I don't think that's the only way he's going to come at me. And I just see that whatever he tries, I'm going to have an answer for, and I'm going to do it better. And that's all there is to it. I see this being a finish like all of my other fights. And if it's not a finish, I promise it's going to be exciting to watch.
And what are you looking to get out of the sport for yourself?
Really, I'm looking at it to obviously make money, just kind of, but the other aspect is that I never really achieved what I wanted to in other sports, football, I got injured my senior year of high school, didn't get to play in college. I got the opportunity to wrestle Division I instead. I never qualified for nationals. So I never really reached what I wanted to out of sports. And I see this as an opportunity to really come out and compete at the highest level, to be the best in the world, make money for myself, and then give myself an opportunity to elevate not only my status, but the status of my entire family and those I care about.
That's a noble cause. I wanted to ask you, is there anyone you'd like to thank for being on the show? And I want to say I appreciate you being on and best of luck.
Yeah, I definitely love to thank, obviously, my coaches and my trainer. I wouldn't be in the position I am without them. and also my sponsors. You know, all the guys that were with me from the beginning, those sponsors, and then my most recent sponsors and my big sponsors that have allowed me to quit corporate America and train full time for this opportunity. And that's Jet Hot Premium Coating and Fleming Law Firm. They've really put together a great package for me. Each of them has, and it's allowed me to eliminate a lot of stress from my life. So there's those guys, my coaches, and my manager, Rick Guerrero with Mata Leon. Without them, none of this would be possible.
Definitely. And what was your reaction, real quick, to Curtis Blades getting the big finish over Reed?
Man, I was nothing but happy for Curtis. I knew going to the third round, all he had to do was coast and not get finished. But to see him go out there and still have that killer instinct and get the finish, I was so proud of him, so happy for him. You know, we are managed by the same guy. We are training partners, but we're also pretty good friends, you know.
Yeah.
And just to see someone that you know what they've been through and you've seen their journey and seen them progress, it's huge, and it's one of the greatest feelings, seeing someone else, you know, one of your boys really make it. And that was cool.
I agree, man. It was amazing. Thank you again for taking time to be on the show, Juan, and best of luck, of course. Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series. You're taking on Sean Teed. Week 7, July 31st, UFC Fight Minutes.
All right, thanks, man. Have a good one.
You too. Well, more to come on the Fight Report. We've got Chris Wade joining us in studio, so stay tuned. You'll listen to most action-packed 2 hours on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
Your career in radio or TV broadcasting at the Illinois Media School's downtown Chicago campus. Call us at 312-884-8000 or visit 530 South State Street to learn how you can make your dreams of being on television and radio a reality. Don't take my word for it. Check out what some industry professionals said about the Illinois Media School.
Jonathan Hood, ESPN 1000. People often ask me, Hoodie, how can I be a sports radio guy like you? I tell them it takes drive and determination, and you need to learn how it all works. You can learn to be a sports talk show host, a producer, do play-by-play, and shoot and edit video. You'll have a chance to get internships at stations where you can tap into the knowledge of industry pros. With job placement assistance, you can start your new career in 1 year. It's a great school to get the hands-on training you need for a broadcasting career, doing what you love. They have affordable tuition and financial aid for those who qualify. So don't waste another minute. Go to beonair.com/Chicago Sports. That's beonair.com/Chicago Sports.
John, I know what look like report.
Rick, Amanda Nunes is the most dominant women's fighter today. Her heart is unmatched. Skills in striking are unparalleled. Game this close to breaking Raquel Pennington. The Lioness is hungry. She's going to fight Cyborg. I've got Amanda Nunes.
I'm going with Chris Cyborg on this. I give credit to Amanda Nunes with her courage because this fight's going to be bloody.
Listen live Tuesday at 12 p.m. only on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
This week on Deck. Find out if the Caps will finish the Stanley Cup.
It's Ovechkin with the first goal of the game.
Or will the Vegas Golden Knights extend the series?
Welcome to the main event of the evening.
Plus, we get into the NBA Finals. Will the Warriors be back-to-back champs? I'm making people happy. Also, we get into Cubs and Sox baseball. Make sure to tune in On Deck with me, Charles Pride Richie, Sid the Kid, and Corey Barber every Saturday from 2 to 4 p.m. on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
It's a great time to be a sports fan in Chicago. The Bears have wrapped up OTAs. We're less than 2 weeks away from the NBA draft. And the Cubs and Sox are well into their seasons. On Second City Sports, we break down and analyze all the latest breaking news and notes from across the sports landscape. So join Jay Pfeiffer and Lakina McGee every Thursday from 12 to 2 p.m. only on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com, where it's not just sports, it's a way of life.
So you want to be in broadcasting, but you don't know where to start? Illinois Media School is a great beginning. If you want to work in front of the camera or mic or behind the scenes, IMS will help you prepare for a career in broadcasting in just 8 months. And financial aid is available for those who qualify. So what are you waiting for? Call the Illinois Media School at 312-884-8000, 312-884-8000, or visit the website at beonair.com.
Nothing moves the blob
at the end of the day, where do you expect the Cubs to be is the best question.
I expect to be in the World Series. I said this before the year started. You weren't here yet, but when I made my prediction for the Cubs, I expect to be in the World Series and lose to the Yankees and sit.
Give me a break. WORK. They got you if you believed into it. If you bought into it this long, they got you.
The Bob Show with Cedric Farrell and Elijah Richardson, Wednesdays from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. only on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
I'm not only on that bandwagon, I'm driving that bandwagon, and we're not stopping until we get to Cooperstown.
Hey, Steve, did you catch the score of the Cubs game last night?
No, actually, I didn't.
You need to tune in to Covering the Bases on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
Isn't that the hot new baseball show with Matt Brown and Steven Garcia?
Yes, they cover the Cubs and Sox, scores, updates, and up-to-the-minute news around Major League Baseball and more.
Covering the Bases this Wednesday from noon to 2 p.m. only on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com and Facebook Live.
I've been in the radio and broadcasting business a long time, more than 3 decades, and I thought, if I spread my knowledge and shared what I know about the business with a lot of young minds, maybe I could get some of those people involved. And my dad talked to schools, and I thought I could do that too, and I could do it all in one place at Illinois Media School. I've been having a great time. I tell everybody I'm learning as much from the students as they learn from me. I am Eddie Volkman, and I am IMS.
All right, Sean Lang, we are back here on the most action-packed 2 hours, ChicagolandSportsRadio.com, the Fight Board, and it is Fight Week, of course, Professional Fighters League, their inaugural season. Event number 2 will take place June 21st, and make sure to call in right now or inbox me. We are giving away 5 pairs of tickets for Professional Fighters League this Thursday, June 21st, at the Chicago Theater. So make sure to inbox me. You can tweet me, anything on social media, and we are giving away those tickets. So make sure to reach me right now. But right now, we're going to introduce my next guest on the Fight Report on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com. And we're talking to Chris Wade, of course. Big fight for you coming up, Professional Fighters League 2. And you've got a tough guy on your hands as well, and Nathan Schultz. And welcome to the Fight Report. How's everything going for you, man?
Thank you for having me on, Sean. It's going great. Travel here was smooth. Training camp was awesome. I did all my training basically at home on Long Island with actually a couple other guys that are in the PFL. So we're all in lockstep right now. My other teammate Bermudez, who's in the UFC, he's got a fight coming up too. So everyone's working hard right now, and everyone's on the same schedule, which is really important in camp. So I'm feeling good going into this one Thursday.
Right, man. Talk about what you've been up to since your time with the UFC. I know you had a few months in between this fight. And
yeah, so this is going to be 11 months basically since my last fight, which I hate. I'm a wrestler. I'm used to when you complete 3 times a week when you wrestle. So to be able to only compete once in 11 months when you win, it sucks. But that's what happens when you're a professional and you're dealing with contracts. Mm-hmm. You're dealing with different things involving money at play. So I understand what went on, and I just tried to use that time instead of being angry about that time off because I was healthy. I tried to just use it to get better, to become a better fighter. And I think we did that. So I don't think it was time wasted away from the cage. I think it's just, I'm looking at it as me as a new and a better fighter.
Definitely. And that's great that you actually had some time to rejuvenate yourself, from the hectic schedule I'm sure the UFC had provided you. And, a lot of media, a lot of the fights are overseas. I know you had to fight overseas a couple times as well.
I was in the Netherlands once. It can get hectic because you don't know what, unlike PFL, which is a league and a season, when you're over there, you don't know when you're going to fight. So you're always basically on call.
Right.
You're always on edge. You don't know if you can even go on a vacation because they might call you while you're on vacation. here, you know when you're going to compete, which is awesome. Right. I don't think there's been a group of fighters that have ever had this luxury where you know when you have to be ready. I think that this is going to be really beneficial to putting on good fights.
And talk about the opportunity to compete in this tournament. How excited are you for that?
Listen, $1 million. Anybody gets a chance at $1 million.
Right.
You got to be jumping. But I'm proud to be part of this inaugural season because I love what they're about. I love what the PFL is about. They seem like they really want to do right by the fighters. And in my past experiences with promotions, it's not about the fighters. It's about the bottom dollar a lot of the time. And the fighters get the worst of it. So this is something that I've always kind of been crying out for. I'm a big sports fan, a big New York sport fan. And think about all our major sports, right? You got your regular season, but it culminates in a playoff and a championship each year. Then you got that team that was the champ, and they gotta try to hold up and win it again, like the Warriors. You know, they were the champ, but they got to go earn it again next year. They don't get to sit on a belt for like 18 months injured,
right?
You know, making up stuff, waiting for the right opportunity. They got to go play a full regular season again, earn their way through the playoffs, and win it again.
Right.
And that's how this is going to go down. I think this is a crucial step toward becoming in lockstep with those major sports.
Yeah, definitely. I could see it being like, you know, catching on as well. You know, people that, you know, asking for updates. Hey, how's my fighter doing? You know, how's the schedule going? Is he going to make it playoffs or not? You know,
yeah,
I could definitely see that.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
You're starting to try to figure out like, oh, he needs this many points to get in, or he needs this many points for the 1 seed, just like you talk about in regular sports. So, I mean, if you want it to be there, you got to put the same format out there.
Sure.
That's what this is.
Yeah. And who got into your ear to join the PFL? Did you talk to Ray Seffo ahead of time? Was that something that happened to you?
Well, believe it or not, like I actually fought for under Ray before the UFC in World Series of Fighting. And my manager is Ali, and Ali is very close with Ray. And Ali knew that what Ray was building and what was going to be going down the following year. So Ali was one of the first people that got kind of into my ear about it. And then, I had a few good conversations with Ray earlier on this year in the springtime, and that's what led to me signing with the PFL.
And then Madison Square Garden is going to be the culmination of the season. Like, are you excited for that opportunity to compete there?
Oh, that would
first time ever.
Yeah, that would be a dream come true. I've been checking boxes off with fighting of like all these dreams and things that I wanted to accomplish. I wanted to fight at home. I got that done last year. I'm going to be able to, with the PFL, get that done again this year, coming up in August with my second regular season fight. But to fight at the Garden is another thing that when I started on this journey, it was illegal in New York. So my home was Atlantic City. That was like as close as you could get for a pro fight. I was like a Jersey fighter almost. And seeing it become legalized in New York now, like that's the Mecca. That's where my Knicks play. Like that's where huge fights go down. So I feel like you can't call it a career until you find your way there somehow. You got to get in there.
Right.
I can't wait.
Definitely. So you envision like that's definitely a path to victory for you.
I feel like I've already seen it. I've already dreamt it. I've been envisioning it. I think visualization is like really important in sports. And I'm always telling myself, I'm writing it down. I'm trying to visualize it. I'm trying to see it, trying to create that reality. So of course it is. Yeah, I'm tired of being like humble because I grew up that way. When you're in wrestling, they teach you you're not supposed to be this cocky, dude. Nobody respects that in that sport. They'll try to run you out if that's how you are. But wrestlers even are starting to realize like it doesn't get you any attention. So now everyone's starting to get a little flashier. run their mouth a little bit more, be
Yeah.
that entertainer, like that WWE kind of character.
Sure.
Be more outspoken, get the attention, but also, at the end of the day, be a good person. So I'm not going to be shy about it. Like I see these dudes, I know who I've competed against and what I'm capable of. I know who I train with, and watch at the end of the year who's where. I bet you I'm there.
And your opponent, Nathan Schultz, from what you've seen from him, what are you expecting from this fight?
I mean, I'll tell you the truth. I didn't even know what he looked like until like 2 hours ago.
Okay.
I don't care anymore.
Right.
I changed my whole attitude in like the last year or so, where I just want to do what I do.
Mm-hmm.
When you start watching other people and you watch their highlights and stuff, it makes them look like heroes.
Yeah.
You're watching their highlight reels.
Sure.
So my new philosophy is like, let him deal with me.
Mm-hmm.
My coach told me a little bit about what he likes to do, what his tendencies are.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I feel like I need. Or after that, it doesn't matter.
I imagine he's looking at your accomplishments in boxing, kickboxing as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how he attacks fights, but I would assume he probably feels like he has a couple things to worry about for sure.
Yeah.
I've been in there with some tough dudes, so he probably knows what I'm capable of.
Definitely, man. And then moving forward, man, how important is it for you just to stay healthy after this fight? Like, so you can keep moving forward in the tournament. Like,
yeah.
Do you ever think about like, oh, maybe some fighters are going to be taking the fight easy, just coasting rather than trying to get themselves hurt in a medical situation?
I think this format, it just plays even more to my advantage.
Mm-hmm.
I can fight someone in 2 weeks. I bet you. 3 weeks tops. So
Sure.
6 weeks for me is like, that's double the time. That's vacation time. Some guys, they can only fight once or twice a year because they get so banged up when they compete. I have people on my team, they fight. They're so tough, but they're so banged up. Their body's so banged up after the fight. They need 6 months to heal up. So you're going to watch people start dropping like flies, and I'm just going to be cruising along.
Okay, we're on the fight report with lightweight Chris Way in studio to talk about his fight against Nathan Schultz at PFL 2 and June 21st. Make sure to give us a call in 773-966-2494. Inbox us to win free tickets to PFL 2. That's June 21st on the NBC Sports Network. So also talk about having this opportunity and in your career, man, like finally getting to make a statement, showing everybody who you are. Is this going to be like a coming out party for you? Because I know, other promotions like the UFC, maybe you didn't get to show what you were really capable of.
Yeah, that's exactly what this is for me. Like, I'm not going to lie and say I like the way everything went down.
Mm-hmm.
I was like a 750 win percentage fighter over there. And they thought so little of me and what I was able to generate from like a social media perspective that they just let me run out my deal and waste away for 5-6 months without even calling me to say whether or not they were going to do anything with me or not. They just kind of strung it along. So I got a big chip on my shoulder to show people that basically mistakes were made,
right?
That I'm one of the best lightweights in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm one of the toughest outs in the world. And I think people know that, but there's more to it than that. When you're an athlete, sometimes it's not the easiest thing in the world to realize that in this sport that you have to be an entertainer as well.
Sure.
You gotta wear both hats in fighting, which is crazy when you think about it. Because if you're in a fist fight with a dude, right? You worried about showboating and stuff? If I put you out on the street right now and you start throwing punches and kicks with a guy, are you gonna be worried about like hamming it up or like hamming it up after? That's real. Like, it's really real. So they ask a lot of you, and I'm growing in the sport. I understand that now, that you gotta put yourself out there a little bit more. So to answer your question, this is definitely a coming out party for me where it's not just showing what I was capable of, but it's being different, doing some of the stuff that I just wouldn't even dare to try
Mm-hmm.
just for the sake of winning, that now it's like, why not? Why I want people to see that I'm more athletic than all these dudes.
Right.
I need people to see that. If they don't, then I'm hurting myself. I'm not using my abilities. So yeah, you're gonna see probably some wild stuff from me because I don't care anymore to not. It didn't look what it did for me to not and to fight conservatively. It did nothing but stagnant, basically what I was after.
Right.
Like you said, it didn't give me the opportunities. They didn't want me to fight those big names because I could win those fights, but it wasn't in the way that they wanted them won.
Mm-hmm.
So it's time to be who I'm capable of being.
Definitely, man. We're looking forward to a very exciting fight. And Chris Wade, thank you again taking time to be on the fight board today. What can we expect though come Thursday night? Give us a little preview.
I want a knockout so bad.
Mhm.
So you can expect me to set something wild up that's going to put him to sleep because that's what I want. I just want people to forget the points, forget, the looming tournament. It's been a long time. This is a big chip on my shoulder, and I want to put somebody down.
All right. Well, hey, Chris, thanks again. Taking time to be on the fight board day. Anybody you'd like to thank?
Thanks, Chicago. Come on out. Thursday, June 21st. Come see me fight.
Sounds good, man. Anytime, you're welcome back on the fight board, and best of luck.
Appreciate that. Thank you for having me on.
No problem. So make sure, guys, to check out PFL 2. It's going to be on the 21st of this month of June, this Thursday, and we're giving away tickets right now. So inbox me, tweet me at Fightlete on Twitter, or message me on Instagram at Fightlete as well. And make sure you're there for the action. Chris Wade's saying that, predicting a knockout, and you guys want to be there. You don't want to blink, and don't want to make sure you miss out on this one. So stay tuned. More to come on the fight board after this. ChicagolandSportsRadio.com. You listen to most action-packed 2 hours on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com, the fight report.
Career in radio or TV broadcasting at the Illinois Media School's downtown Chicago campus. Call us at 312-884-8000 or visit 530 South State Street to learn how you can make your dreams of being on television and radio a reality. Don't take my word for it. Check out what some industry professionals said about the Illinois Media School.
Jonathan Hood, ESPN 1000. People often ask me, Hoodie, how can I be a sports radio guy like you? I tell them it takes drive and determination, and you need to learn how it all works. You can learn to be a sports talk show host, a producer, do play-by-play, and shoot and edit video. You'll have a chance to get internships at stations where you can tap into the knowledge of industry pros. With job placement assistance, you can start your new career in 1 year. It's a great school to get the hands-on training you need for a broadcasting career, doing what you love. They have affordable tuition and financial aid for those who qualify. So don't waste another minute. Go to beonair.com/Chicago Sports. That's beonair.com/Chicago Sports.
John Lennon with the Fightlete Report. Rick, Amanda Nunes is the most dominant women's fighter today. Her heart is unmatched. Her skills in striking are unparalleled. Game this close to breaking Raquel Pennington. The Lioness is hungry. She's going to fight Cyborg. I've got Amanda Nunes.
I'm going with Chris Cyborg on this. I give credit to Amanda Nunes with her courage because this fight is going to be bloody.
This is live Tuesday at 12 p.m. only on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
This week on Deck. Find out if the Caps will finish the Stanley Cup. Or will the Vegas Golden Knights extend the series?
Welcome to the main event of the evening.
Plus, we get into the NBA Finals. Will the Warriors be back-to-back champs? I'm making people happy. Also, we get into Cubs and Sox baseball. Make sure to tune in On Deck with me, Charles Pride Richie, Sid the Kid, and Corey Barber every Saturday from 2 to 4 p.m. on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
It's a great time to be a sports fan in Chicago. The Bears have wrapped up OTAs. We're less than 2 weeks away from the NBA draft, and the Cubs and Sox are well into their seasons. On Second City Sports, we break down and analyze all the latest breaking news and notes from across the sports landscape. So join Jay Pfeiffer and Lakina McGee every Thursday from 12 to 2 p.m. only on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com, where it's not just sports, it's a way of life.
So you want to be in broadcasting, but you don't know where to start? Illinois Media School is a great beginning. If you want to work in front of the camera or mic or behind the scenes, IMS will help you prepare for a career in broadcasting in just 8 months. And financial aid is available for those who qualify. So what are you waiting for? Call the Illinois Media School at 312-884-8000, 312-884-8000, or visit the website at beonair.com.
Nothing moves the blob. At the end of the day, where do you expect the Cubs to be is the best question.
I expect to be in the World Series. I said this before the year started. You weren't here yet, but when I made my prediction for the Cubs, I expect to be in the World Series and lose to Yankees in 6.
Give me a break. WORK. They got you if you believed into it. If you bought into it this long, they got you.
The Bob Show with Cedric Farrell and Elijah Richardson, Wednesdays from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. only on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
I'm not only on that bandwagon, I'm driving that bandwagon, and we're not stopping until we get to Cooperstown.
Hey, Steve, did you catch the score of the Cubs game last night?
No, actually, I didn't.
You need to tune in to Covering the Bases on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
Isn't that the hot new baseball show with Matt Brown and Steven Garcia?
Yes, they cover the Cubs and Sox, scores, updates, and up-to-the-minute news around Major League Baseball and more.
Covering the Bases this Wednesday from noon to 2 p.m. only on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com and Facebook Live.
Hey, sports fans, Paulie C here, and this is a recap of what you missed last week on the Fans Corner. It's been literally the king of Eastern Conference for almost a decade, and
the
now
only reason to watch the Eastern Conference.
basically, and now if he goes over, we're assuming he's going to go over to the Western Conference, right, for the first time in his career.
And then at that point, do you realize what that does to the NBA? You put him in the West, you might as well just take the Eastern Conference and fold it.
So please join us on Friday afternoons from 2 to 4 p.m. on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
I've been in the radio and broadcasting business a long time, more than 3 decades, and I thought, if I spread my knowledge and shared what I know about the business with a lot of young minds, maybe I could get some of those people involved. And my dad talked to schools, and I thought I could do that too, and I could do it all in one place at Illinois Media School. I've been having a great time. I tell everybody I'm learning as much from the students as they learn from me. I am Eddie Volkman, and I am IMS.
Hi, I'm Rob Rose, and I'm one of the instructors here at Illinois Media School. I've been teaching here at the school since 2010, as a matter of fact, between Lombard and Chicago campuses. This is definitely the place to come. It's going to prepare you for absolutely everything that you need to know about the broadcast industry. We're talking radio, television, web, podcasting, absolutely everything. Get in touch with the school and take advantage of it. Make it your career. Do it now. I'm Rob Rose, nights on 100.3 WSHE in Chicago, and I am IMS.
Spartans. Now they played up along the near right side, and it's Arcevar to play it up. Now it's a question of how much keep away do the Spartans play, and that may be what they're going to look like to do. 2:39 to play. That one.
All I know what looked like before. Rick, Amanda Nunes is the most dominant women's fighter today. Her heart is unmatched. Skills in striking are unparalleled. Game this close to breaking Raquel Pennington. The Lioness is hungry. She's going to fight Cyborg. I've got Amanda Nunes.
I'm going with Chris Cyborg on this. I give credit to Amanda Nunes with her courage because this fight is going to be bloody.
This is live Tuesday, 12 p.m. only on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com. All right, Sean Lyon back here on the most action-packed 2 hours, ChicagolandSportsRadio.com, the Fight Board. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. And, wow, we had 4 guests already, and we're waiting on our 5th guest to give us a call in. Curtis Melender, of course, he is going to be on the Fightlete Report at 1:30 p.m., 1:40 p.m., actually. So stay tuned. You're listening to the most action-packed 2 hours, ChicagolandSportsRadio.com. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in and making us one of the top shows here on Chicagoland Sports Radio. But anyway, right now I'm going to go over some MMA news till we hopefully get Curtis Melender on the Fightlete Report. Again, you still got time to win those tickets. Give us a call, 773-966-2494. Inbox me on Facebook, Sean Lennon, or at Fightlete on Twitter or Instagram. And you will make sure to get you those tickets. You'll be set for the contest, of course, June 21st Professional Fighters League 2 is happening. We just had Chris Wade in studio. Glad to talk to him. Jason High was in studio as well at the beginning of the show. And yeah, we're going to keep it rolling, guys. So here on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com, the most action-packed 2 hours of Fight League Report. So if you guys want to win those tickets, all you got to do is contact me. You got the number, 773-966-2494. You can also contact me on Facebook, Sean Lennon, or on Twitter at Fightlete as well. And you'll listen to the most action-packed 2 hours on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com, the Fight League Report. So, yeah, just to go over some of the MMA news happening recently, we have heard a lot going on. The first thing, of course, is from Curtis Blades. He says that he is going to fight Stipe Miocic next for the title, saying that DC is going to get smoked at UFC 226. In his opinion, he's going to go down in flames. He's ready for either opponent, but he feels like Stipe's got this one, and he's going to be able to fight him. But Curtis Blades has been flawless inside the cage, racking up 5 wins with 3 finishes, and looking like to be a future champion in the UFC. All right, so Jake Ellenberger coming out and saying that he is not retiring from the UFC, even though he's 2-8 over his last 10 fights. He's going to map up his current future in combat sports with Dana White and expecting a return in the late summer. This is coming on the guys over at MMA Junkie who had him on. Of course, McGregor is just 2-2 after his last 4 fights. Something that basically Khabib Nurmagomedov has brought up, and Conor wants the biggest fights they could possibly have, and I think the moment Khabib seems to be that guy. But let's make it clear, said Ali Abdelaziz. This guy is 2-2 in his last 4 fights. And what do you have to gain but money? Big drama show Khabib doesn't think he deserves it. So that coming out as well between the potential fight between Khabib and Conor. Of course, Ronda Rousey suspended from WWE following the controversial segment on Raw, and she attacked Kurt Angle, the general manager, and Alexa Bliss, the woman champion of Raw. Of course, she costed Ronda Rousey her opportunity to defeat Nia Jax and walk away with the title in Chicago last Sunday. Let's talk about that match. First of all, I thought Ronda, her first singles match did pretty well. I also a professional wrestling fan and follow it. I was at the event. However, with some slight botches in the matches that I felt that shouldn't have happened. I thought she came away pretty well. The whole shocking, of course, was that Alexa Bliss had this Money in the Bank, the contract she won earlier in the event, came in and assaulted Ronda, trying to create more drama, I guess, and she walks away with the gold after in the pinfall Nia Jax. Yeah, she gets to have a match while a match is going on. Imagine that. But, Ronda Rousey's getting a lot of attention, of course. She's going to be in the Hall of Fame next month, and this was a huge match for her in Chicago. So, also in the news, we've got Mackenzie Dern. She's at EA Sports to join the upcoming video game. Some fans are questioning what weight class she'll be in. Of course, after failing to make the weight limit in her last fight with Amanda Bobby Cooper, she came over 6 pounds over, I think it was 7 pounds overweight. But yeah, she will be in the video game right now in EA Sports. Uriah Faber is struck by a car in Singapore and is injured in the event. Of course, he's not competing. However, he was part of the corner for Tatsura Ishihara. And yeah, he just got run over a car. He stepped in the street and got ran over. It's a nasty injury. Wow. That's crazy. Obviously it was, he's injured in the accident. I mean, the foot looks kind of disfigured, and that's a crazy night of events happening for him, unfortunately, for your favorite in Singapore. Then we get, of course, to Northcutt versus Otto is going to be made official for UFC Boise, Idaho. And yeah, the event is headlined by Junior Dos Santos and another tough fighter in Buggy Ivanov. So that's going to be a tough one. Blagoy Ivanov and Gino Dos Santos in the main event. And, of course, Felder versus Vic, co-main event. Chad Mendes returns to fight Miles Jury after a 2-year suspension. Also, we got to see UFC rookie drops 45 pounds in 2 weeks and lived to tell about it. And they were talking about Craig White, of course, who took on Neil Magny. He dropped 45 pounds in 2 weeks to take on Neil Magny in a short notice fight. That's crazy. He recounts that, of course, on MMA Mania.com. That's a crazy story, man. People will do any lengths to get to the UFC, and guess what? That's what it takes, man. You know, UFC calls you, you're not going to say no and say, oh, maybe later. No, you're going to go back and you're going to fight. Of course, UFC Fight Night 132. We've got Cowboy versus Edwards. It's June 23rd on UFC Fight Pass. The whole card, first of all, kicks off 4:30 a.m. in the morning. Is the prelim card. The main card starts at 8 a.m. So you could probably catch the main event around 9 a.m. I don't think I'll be up that early. I work the night shift. But yeah, that's good. I'll probably record the fights and watch them later on my end. But yeah, if you're an early bird, make sure you're up for UFC Fight Night this Saturday morning. Mackenzie Durt is going to stay in at women's strawweight division after failing to make the weight cut by 7 pounds. She tried to weigh in. She is going to be, although it seemed like they were going to force her to move up weight class, she's doing her next cut with the Promotions Performance Institute, and hopefully that gets her ready, of course, for that one. I think that's going to be probably the only thing you could do to keep her in that weight class. And then, of course, the Sugar Show could be returning at UFC 229 in October. Sean O'Malley claimed that he's getting the co-main event spot October 6th in Vegas. And no potential opponent announced yet, but Sean O'Malley, who, of course, is very excited, is going to be on there as well. So yeah, basically, we're gonna have him on the show as well. I mean, hopefully we have him on the show in the future, but it looks like he'll be part of UFC 229, and that's gonna be exciting for him as well. Brock Lesnar, John Jones. Well, first of all, we've got this fight has no chance of happening this year with John Jones facing his potential USADA suspension. However, we've now learned that they have the rumor of Brock Lesnar returning at the end of the year. If they could make this fight, they already have odds on. So Jones is currently the favorite at minus 350, and Brock Lesnar is a plus 260 underdog. So yes, that's also happening as well. And wow. So also another poll to name Ireland's favorite dad. Liam Neeson defeated Conor McGregor by 2%. In a poll for the best father in Ireland, and Liam Neeson being more than that, but 39%, yes, and he came at 39%, and Conor McGregor came in dead last at 2%. That's interesting as well. Some interesting stuff coming on here. Wow, so Tyron Woodley, this is another big thing he just said. He says that Colby Covington's sister tried to slide into his DMs. It's funny. He went on Twitter and he said that. He says, nice try on a big sister deleting the DMs. You tried trying to slide and get shut down. Don't worry, I just screenshot before you did. And I'll bring it to the presser. This is after Colby Covington's sister calls out Tyron Woodley, says, now we got a belt and there's no stopping us in MMA. So yeah, that's also happening as well. And Angela Hill, Alexa Grasso will fight each other August 25th when UFC comes to Lincoln, Nebraska. That fight confirmed by MMA Junkie shortly thereafter, after Hill put it on the bout agreement on Twitter. And number 15 and Angela Hill will be taking on number 11 Alexa. Both are veterans of Invicta FC, but never got a chance to fight each other, of course. Grasso looking to come back after that loss to Tatiana Suarez in May. And Hill is off a win over Marina Moroz. February has been vocal of the fact that UFC has left her out of fighting. So, Bullet, of course, Valentina Shevchenko has told Nico Ventano to sign the fight agreement. Nico Ventano has been absent since winning the inaugural women's flyweight title back in December, September 8th in Vegas at UFC 228. That looks like it's going to be the next time that they will get a chance to fight at UFC 229. However, not much going in the way of bout agreement being signed. So the fight is not official yet. And she's still waiting on Nico to sign that. Of course, we've heard about Nico's horrific injuries leading up to her not delaying this fight from happening. But we'll see what happens in the future, you know. Also, we've got Mike Jackson responding to Dana White after bashing CM Punk's victory. The victory of CM Punk, he says, I know Dana's a little emotional. He gets like a little girl sometimes. Of course, Efrain Escudero replaces Rashid Magomedov. And we just had Jason High in studio to tell us about that replacement. And former UFC fighter Brad Pickett comes out of retirement, signs with ACB. Bellator signs 6'8" heavyweight Steve Mowry to a multi-fight contract. UFC Cutman 1 Leon Tabbs passed away at 86 years of age. And Claudia Gadelha is headed to surgery after a UFC 225 win over Carla Esparza as well. Jorge Masvidal come out and he said more harsh words, saying the only thing Neil Magny is fighting is diabetes because he's not fighting him. He's like that skinny anorexic, you know what? That's what he called him. Well, that's it. All the time we have for the fight part. Hopefully, we have Curtis Melinda back at another time. So stay tuned for the penalty box next here on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. And I want to announce, of course, Miguel Rodriguez getting the tickets for PFL 2. And we'll put his name down for those. So make sure to tune in next Tuesday for ChicagolandSportsRadio.com. Most action-packed 2 hours on the show, the Fightlete Report. Stay tuned, where the penalty box is next.
My name is Edgar Ibarra, and I'm very grateful for all the knowledge I received at the Illinois Media School. My 15-year career in radio has been a dream come true. I'm a radio DJ, I'm on the air, and I get to be a program director for 2 radio stations in Wisconsin. My dream became a reality with the Illinois Media School. Illinois Media School is a great school with great teachers and former students now working in the industry today on the radio stations you listen to and on the TV stations you watch every day. Illinois Media School, check it out. For more details, beonair.com.
I couldn't have said it better myself. This is Jonathan Hood, instructor at the Illinois Media School, formerly Illinois Center for Broadcasting. So many reasons for you to consider Illinois Media School: financial aid for those who qualify, real-world hands-on experience, internships, and so much more. Don't just take my word for it. Set up a tour at one of the 2 Chicagoland locations. Go to beonair.com/Chicago Sports to learn more. That's beonair.com/Chicago Sports.
Last time on the K-Trade Show.
What do you think was on JR's mind?
And he knew what the question meant.
Oh, yeah. He knew what the question meant. I can read his mind. You sitting up there with Charlie Brown's shorts on and a suit.